Hi, everybody. We do have a guest today. His name is Nikolas Perrault. He's president and CEO of Colt Resources. And Colt Resources is a company mostly doing its business in Portugal so far. They have two big projects. One future gold project, which is a low-grade gold project. And I've been told that it's something that looks like Curtain Lake gold project. And they do have a tungsten project as well that has been identified a long time ago. Many companies has worked on it, and we'll be talking about this project because it's the nearest project to be started by the company. Mr. Perrault, good day.
Oui, yes, good day. Sorry about that.
After the French interview, we have to switch.
Yes, that's okay. I'm switching.
I do these mistakes every time. And okay, so let's talk first about I'll keep the tungsten project for the end. Let's talk about the gold project. Yeah, I didn't even know that the Portugal was a gold producer.
Well, it's not a gold producer, but it was. It's got a long tradition of gold mining going back 2,000 years. So the last gold mine in Portugal actually closed in 1992.
Okay.
So we anticipate being the company that reopens the first gold mine in Portugal in quite some time.
Okay. And so this gold project is something like has about the same grade as Cisco to me, because that's about the same.
It's actually a higher grading project than what you're referring to, the Malartic project. But this is what we have here is the Boafé Montemor. We have essentially two concessions: the Boafé concession, on which we have actually a mining license, and the Montemor concession, where we have an exploration license.
Okay.
This is all for us the same big project, but
are they two near projects?
One is contained within the other. So
okay.
It's 772 square kilometers of continuous mining claims that we have. So 35 kilometers of shear zone. The analogy is, you have shear zones are where most of the world's gold is produced from. Each super major gold producer has a shear zone under its control.
In this type of anomaly?
Well, a shear zone is essentially a break in the crust of the earth. Think about the San Andreas Fault in California. That's an active shear zone. What we're talking about here is a shear zone that was active 500 million years ago.
Okay.
So these are very favorable geological settings for major gold projects. And we happen to have locked up 100% control of 35 kilometers of a shear zone on which there's numerous gold belts that have been identified. And most of the historical work was really confined to the first 100 meters from surface, and again, only focusing on the highest grading geochemical anomalies at the time. At the time being the mid-2000s is when it was last actively explored.
Have you identified resources already there?
We actually published an initial resource estimate on only two of the multiple deposits. That was published last week. I think it was about 210,000 ounces. Mostly indicated, so a pretty good confidence in the numbers. These deposits remain open, and we have several historical deposits that we have yet to bring to 43101 standards. So you can expect a series of resource estimates over the next few years from us on this project. But our strategy will not be to prove everything that's there to start production. We just want to satisfy ourselves that we have enough to begin an operation, and we believe we'll be at that point in the first quarter of 2013. We believe we will have identified enough by the end of the first quarter to justify an economic decision.
So your intentions are to go on production on two different, on the tungsten and on the gold by the next couple of years.
That's correct, yes. So and this will not, it seems like a big challenge for a junior company, but our strategy will be to develop the gold project on our own and to develop the tungsten project as a joint venture with an industry player.
Okay, let's talk now about the tungsten project. You have I have something here that says Portugal has like I can't remember the numbers. I can't see it.
Tungsten production.
World production.
Right. Well, tungsten. Portugal has historically been a source of tungsten for the rest of the world. It contributes, I still think, about 1.5% of world output or something like that.
But they say here Portugal contains 0.2 of the world's tungsten reserve and produce 1.5 of the world tungsten, but all by one single mine.
All by one single mine. They're just referring to one mine. So our plan is to be the second tungsten producing mine in Portugal.
And this mine has been bought by the Japanese.
The one that you're referring to, or
that's the one that exists right now.
Panasquera was purchased about 5 years ago by Sojitz, which is a Japanese trading house. And this production that you're referring to, the 1.5% of world output, is essentially all going to Japan now. This used to be a source of tungsten for Europe.
And you have hired recently someone that has contacts in China.
We have many inroads into China. So this is only one. You're referring to Connie Wang, who's on our advisory board.
Okay.
Yes. So we're quite active. We go to all the trade shows in China, most of the trade shows that we find relevant. We have active discussions going on with potential players for our projects in China.
No, we have plenty of Chinese boat that comes around here.
Absolutely.
So they could take a load once in a while. And so how far are you and how is it going with that project already? Because it seems to be interesting. If they have a producer there, they may as well have a second producer. And
yes.
Are you the grade of this, the type of mine, how does it compare with the one that exists already?
Well, actually, the initial grade that we published in our initial resource estimate that came out at the end of 2011 shows a project that has that's probably 3 times the grade of what is currently being mined in Portugal, the other operation. And it certainly is approximately double the grade of the average producing tungsten mine in Europe. So we have a very high grade project. We've been actively, even since this initial resource estimate, we've been very busy infill drilling and doing metallurgical drilling, continuing to advance the project. And also in March, we decided to step out a little bit and explore some of our regional targets. And on our first scout hole, we made a very significant discovery. The grades are similar, if not better in some cases, than our original deposit area. And we're continuing to do step-out drilling there. So we're hopeful to be able to include in our upcoming resource estimate, which will be out by the end of September. We're hopeful to be able to start to include some initial resources from the new discovery. So we'll have to see if we can get enough drilling done. So there's no question about the
feasibility if another project which has a much lower grade already exists and produces and makes money.
Well, let's put it, there's not only grade in a project, but let's put it this way, we're very comfortable with what we see so far. As we publish our updated resource estimate in the third quarter, this will be quickly followed by a pre-feasibility study. And we already have some internal scoping numbers that are very encouraging.
You say there's not only grades. So what are the other important factors?
Proximity to key infrastructure, power lines, which we have all of this on our project. So it's local population support, which is very important. So we feel very comfortable with this project. But,
I think support to any growing industry in Portugal
absolutely
is there because they
very
desperately
often
need some money.
Exactly. Very often I get asked, are you concerned about Portugal and about, I mean, we're a very, in a very sweet spot. We're a ray of sunshine in a normally gloomy economic outlook over there. So we get a lot of positive press in Portugal day-to-day basis.
But I read that you had some, you may have some support from the Portugal government, but with the problem they are experiencing.
We're not counting
right
on
now,
any. All we're counting on is support to do our business, but not financial
to let
support.
you do your business and not necessarily come with tons of money.
We've been creating a lot of local jobs. What we're doing is very well seen over there. So we're just happy to help Portugal. The only way we can, which is create employment and create tax revenue for the government.
Sure, that's exactly what they need anyway.
Yeah.
So you're planning to have the feasibility study done by 2013,
right.
The construction by 2014, maybe beginning of production by 2015.
That is correct. So we have essentially in Colt a tungsten project that, if all goes well, will be in production by the first part of 2015. And a gold project that we anticipate will be in production a little bit before that.
So tell us what type of mines it is. It is an open pit or these are galleries?
The tungsten project will be an underground operation. amenable to bulk mining equipment because of the nature of the ore body.
How deep you have to go approximately?
Well, the deposit outcrops at surface. So it's going to be essentially development of tunnels, probably a few kilometers of tunnels initially. But it's a system that's quite extensive, and we believe that you know, the ore body is anywhere between 5 and 20 meters thick, so it's very favorable setting for bulk underground mining.
Yeah,
you can picture.
20 meters thick, that's close to 75 feet. So it's pretty thick. And but
very
how
much so.
far to the ground? You said
well,
it's visible. It is almost
know,
visible on ground.
At this stage, we don't know how far this thing goes. The system remains open. So we decided to concentrate on developing what we believed was an economic threshold to start building an operation, and this was what we published in late 2011, and now we're growing on that. So we think that once in production, this operation will last a very long time.
Well, why isn't it an open pit and it has to be an underground operation?
It's just the topography,
it's that thick and not that deep.
Well, it's just the nature of the ore body. It basically
big vein, large,
big thick veins that shallowly dip inside a mountain. Okay. So the deposit continues. So far, it's open. We thought there was going to be a limitation with a granite contact.
It's in a mountain. It's mostly in mountains, not on flat ground.
No, it outcrops on the side of a mountain.
Of
a hillside, gently sloping.
Okay, okay.
Gentle slope.
I understand now. It's easier to go and just follow the vein instead.
Basically, it's two thick skarn layers that continue under a mountain. Mm-hmm. And they gently dip under a mountain, and we don't know how far they go yet.
So you had some money before, and you did the financing. So you're now turning out to have let's say 12 to 15 million in cash.
Correct.
And you told me earlier that you had about 1.5 million burning rate per month.
About closer to $1 million.
Closer to $1 million per month. So that leaves us a year to a year and a half of money in front of you.
We haven't really had any difficulty financing ourselves since the beginning. As the projects are maturing, we're finding it easier to do so. So we're well financed into 2013, and we'll just keep advancing the projects.
How many outstanding shares is there?
I think it's 129 million.
129 million. So, and right now the price of the stock is around 40 cents, 42 cents. So, what are your expectations in terms of value of the ore that you have out there? You know, everyone has that. Some people say this is worth 4 billion, and you don't have an idea about all this thing.
Well, we don't know at this stage how large. We can talk about the gold project first. We locked up an entire shear zone gold system where historical work has only focused on the highest grading outcrops. These systems can go down kilometers. So if this was northern Quebec or Ontario, you'd have 15 or 20 companies on a belt like this. So it's obviously a big project for a junior. Our strategy will be to upgrade enough historical ounces to justify the startup of an operation and explore the rest from cash flow as opposed to printing shares.
For the gold project.
For the gold project. With respect to the tungsten project, we already feel confident that we're close to an economic threshold. And we're optimistic that with the new resource estimate coming out, we'll be able to demonstrate the viability of this project very shortly.
Are you actually right now in negotiation with some company about potential partners?
Yes, we are.
You do? Okay. No, we can't ask you which one. You know, you can't reveal anything like that. But so far, I can call it short term, because when you're talking about 2000, we're halfway done 2012 already. So 2013 and 14 are like tomorrow. So beginning operation it takes some time. So you almost there already in the planning of.
We're very advanced in the planning. Our environmental impact studies are practically finished, actually, for both projects. So we're on track for the dates, the
What
timeline.
what about this area where this mountain is? Is there a river around, close to sea or whatever, like environmental problem anyway?
No, there's no issues that we're aware of that could impede the project.
And the type of operation is slightly the exact same that they do in the other mine there. You're not reinventing the wheel.
It's a different type of rock, but it's going to be, they're both underground operations. The advantage that we have is that the skarn beds are very, very thick. Again, we can talk about underground bulk mining equipment. They have very thin, narrow vein deposit, which is a little bit more challenging. So, look, we feel comfortable that we'll be able to deliver a partnership for this project in a reasonable time frame. We're not in any panic here. The deposit is quite unique. It's one of the richest tungsten deposits in the Western world, and it's close to key infrastructure, and that's worth a lot of tons.
Tungsten is a metal like iron, but it's a way heavier and harder. It's the second hardest metal after gold. Not gold, it's the softest after diamond. I mean, so what is it used for?
Well, they use it in the high-speed cutting equipment, the machinery industry, airplane turbine blades, armament, military applications. That's not going out of style anytime soon. When your cell phone vibrates, there's some tungsten in there. It's the heaviest of all metals. And very resistant.
It needs the temperature of the sun to melt.
That's correct. Yes.
That is something. It also requires a lot of energy there.
Right.
But
so for some applications where you don't want your metal to in a turbine blade to expand, obviously tungsten is very useful.
So so it takes heat. It's harder to melt, so it takes heat better and expand less.
Well, that's right. So
with the
in
same
some
heat.
critical applications, you certainly don't want your metal pieces to expand.
Yeah, but that's the property of all metal. If you heat them, they expand.
Right.
But as this one is harder, it expands less when you heat it, so
That's
it makes it very good for.
So in specialty alloys, they use tungsten.
When you need something that you don't want to expand
That's
when
correct.
it's changed
Absolutely.
Temperature.
And it's a metal that it's in chronic shortage of supply around the world.
And what about the price of tungsten so far? Is it quite stable?
It's been relatively stable the last year. There was a big increase over the last few years as people are realizing that China, which was a traditional source of supply, is no longer there for the market.
Is China the biggest producer?
Yes, they are by far. They used to be the big source of raw tungsten for the world, and they were at the time importing finished goods. Now what's happening is they're making all the finished goods in China. So they're exporting the finished goods to the rest of the world.
They're trying to keep all of their resources for them anyway, and because they come and buy ours now, they even buy the crude oil and refine it in China right now. So,
right.
And so I think there's a good potential for some deal out there. So anything you would have to mention about the company that you think our viewers should know?
Well, if you like diversification, you've got precious metals and a strategic metal in one company. Gold traditionally benefits from problems around the world, and tungsten will continue to benefit from any recovery you might have in the economy. So you have the two in one, and I think arguably you're getting one project at a discount and the other one for free.
That's a good point there. And so when is the feasibility? Do you think the feasibility study would be completed for the tungsten?
We're looking at the third quarter of this year.
Of this year,
for the pre-feasibility study, and we're looking at first quarter of 2013 for a gold project.
Mr. Perrault, thank you very much for coming and telling us about your company.
I thank you, sir.